Yo, what is going on everyone? Guiding Light here back with another Diablo 4 video, and in this one I'm going to be showing you guys a build which I've made on the Necromancer. Now this build is actually pretty great, especially when running through the campaign. You're going to be able to unlock a lot of these abilities earlier on, and you don't have to be completely maxed out at all to do tons of damage with this build. Now I've personally been having a lot of fun with this build, especially being the Necromancer class where you can summon up these additional corpses to fight alongside with you, and it definitely makes clearing out the large groups of enemies a lot better because these groups of enemies that you can summon up actually will take some of the aggro off the enemies. Now I'll show you guys some gameplay of me clearing out a few rooms and also of a boss to show you guys that this actually does do quite a bit of damage even during a boss fight. It's not just going to be good for ad clear, but also going to be good in some of the boss fights as well when using these abilities together. So I've had almost no trouble taking out any of the elite enemies, and even when in big groups, the enemies are able to be taken down pretty easily. Now, the reason why I run the certain perks that I do, which I'll show you guys in just a second, is because you can very easily combo them together. So I actually have some perks on that will slow the enemies around me, and then the minions will be able to actually attack them more because they're slowed. This keeps a lot of the enemies off me and allows me to not have to worry too much about taking damage because they're mostly always going to be on the minions. So I'll show you guys all of the abilities I'm using and how I'm actually basically using them together to sort of combo their effects. So for my first perk up in the top, I'm using the bone splinters. So I've gotten a few of the upgrades here. Now the good thing about these is that you can use that infinitely. You don't really have to worry about it recharging. And once you get down into the second tier, I've actually maxed out a few of the perks here, but mostly just going to be using Blood Surge. Now as you enhance the Blood Surge, you'll be able to actually use Blood Surge to regain some health. So I do suggest getting that perk once you guys have the ability to get it. This will help quite a bit so that you guys can heal up during your fights. So instead of just getting one tier in each of the slots, I decided to just actually go ahead and max out one of the effects just to get more of the abilities out of it and save up for skill points as of right now. So this will be better off in the earlier stages. So Bone Splinter is actually a good perk. I didn't end up buying into it, but it is a decent perk. Now keep in mind, guys, once you move along, you can actually upgrade some of your minions as well. So you're going to want to upgrade the Skeletal Warriors. You can upgrade the damage and the life by 45% by upgrading that. And then I also got Corpse Explosion. Now I recently changed this out for a different perk, but this perk is really, really good. Every time that you blow up one of these corpses, they're going to do an insane amount of damage. And I found that perk to be extremely helpful when clearing out large groups of enemies because you do so much damage with some of these explosions. So I highly suggest using that ability. Now, once you move on to the next tier, you'll unlock this ability which can actually slow the enemies. Now, this is where you can actually begin to start doing some of the combos because you can slow the enemies for over 55% of their speed, and they'll also do less damage as well. Now, once you do slow them, you can go in with some of your explosions and also the blood surge attack that we talked about earlier, the red one. And when you combo all of these effects together, you can actually do quite a bit of damage. Now, another reason why I really like that slow ability is because if you ever go up against a boss or an enemy that's doing a lot of damage, you can slow them down and have some of your minions attack them while they're slowed. And this will allow you to be able to do more of a range attack with those bone splinters that you can unlock as well. So you can switch your playstyle around. Now, the reason why these perks do work really well together is because once you do get the enemies grouped up, you can simply slow them all and then use some of the explosive attacks to clear them out, as you did see earlier on in the gameplay. Now, I'm going to show you guys some more gameplay with these perks now that you know what they do, and you can kind of see what I'm doing alongside of the perks that I'm using. So once you guys do get the ability to max out, there are a few more perks and abilities you can put on, like stand alone. You're also going to unlock this other ability here at the bottom, which I do suggest using. This is the Bone Storm attack. This attack does a lot of damage to big groups of enemies. You can only use it once every minute, but that's because it just does so much damage. And you can also upgrade this as well once you get some of the abilities and once the perks unlock for you. So for every time you level up, you'll be able to get more and more of these abilities. So that's pretty much it for this one, guys. I'm going to show you guys a little bit more gameplay with these perks. And now that you know what these abilities do here, you'll be able to see that a big ability that I'm comboing together on this boss. So that blue effect is me slowing down the enemies, and then I'm actually able to go ahead and use these explosions as well on top of that. And as you can see, guys, most of the enemies are actually doing damage to my minions, so I don't have to worry too much about taking a lot of damage from all the surrounding enemies. because I can always just continue to summon up more and use them as sort of a distraction for some of the other enemies, on top of the fact that they do tons and tons of damage after they have stacked up. So hopefully this helps you guys out throughout Diablo 4. This is going to be one of the best earlier builds that you can use to get through the game pretty quickly for Necromancer. So if you guys have any add-ons that you want to suggest, be sure to leave them in the comments, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.